Hi, everyone. This is your week at a glance for the week of December 7th through the 11th. We are going to be going into the investigating phase of our inquiry research. If you can kind of take a look at the diagram that's located here, this green circle that kind of illustrates the inquiry process. One of the things that we did last week is that we were exploring different topics. You might have remembered from that Padlet that we used with all of our different questions, as well as the Jamboard with all of our different Post-it notes. This week, we're going to have a chance to move into the investigating phase by actually developing a research plan and selecting information and then formulating a focus. So, what that means is designing what you're going to be actually researching, like what question you're going to be actually researching under our research topic. You're going to be selecting a credible source to annotate. And then you're going to be thinking about, what this research means to you and how it connects to creating awareness for others. So, a couple of resources to highlight this week. Here we have the class agenda that has kind of a daily breakdown of what we're doing. I have the Padlet from last week. You might remember that had all of our topics. We'll be using that this week to do some voting. You see these links here in red. Based on your morning hour, you're going to be voting on your top 3 research topics. The most popular one will be the one that we will focus on together as a class. So we'll be talking about that more in our individual Zoom times, and then also time in our individual work time past Zoom to be able to do that. But there's some voting happening this week. Additionally, we're going to also start our week off with our weekly progress check. This will be our last progress check of the quarter because next week will be our final week before the quarter ends. And next week will be reserved for individual grading conferences. Additionally, we're going to be working with a graphic organizer, as you see linked here. And then there's a special workshop schedule for Thursday the 10th because we will not be on Zoom. That will be a time for you to workshop some things that are happening this week. So kind of scrolling down a little bit, I have a printable weekly outlook for you. If you like those boxes and lists to kind of check things off, you can definitely download this and use that to guide your work this week. I have a Zoom schedule provided for this week. Notice that we'll be doing Monday, Tuesday, and Friday of this week. Wednesday is a mandatory attendance day. You see all the times that we'll meet here. But we will not be Zooming at all on Thursday, December 10th. So just wanted to make sure that that's pretty clear. Thursday, December 10th, we're not going to be meeting. If you wanted to get a leg up on signing up for a grading conference, I have a link right here to a Sign Up Genius. That'll take you to a place where you can sign up your name and time for next week. That you and I will be Zooming individually, just talking about your quarter, talking about some goals that you want to set for next semester, and just checking in and seeing how things are doing. So if you wanted to get ahead this week by clicking on that particular link to get your time in or get signed up, definitely I encourage you to do that. Just know that when you do click on that and you do click on that time that you register or you sign up for, you're going to want your 3 Ps done by that time as well. So just so that you know how to conference and what you'll be conferencing and what you'll be talking about at that time. To kind of circle back to our work schedule this week, on Monday, we'll be completing our weekly progress check for the week. We're going to be voting using those links from above there, as I stated, about our top research choice. And then I would encourage you to email me if you have any makeup work that you've completed, just so that I can provide more feedback. Tuesday, we're going to get into our research annotation graphic organizer, which I'll click on that here in a second, kind of look at that a little bit more in depth. But it is broken into 3 parts. And so you'll see throughout our work schedule this week how it's broken down into parts, or like we're not doing the whole entire document for a work time for that day. We're going to do it in smaller, manageable chunks. So for Tuesday, it says complete part 1 and the first half of part 2. And we'll go over that in Zoom if you choose to meet us that day, as well as go over it here in just a second, just to see what it looks like. On Wednesday is a attendance day. So at that point, we're going to choose one credible source. We're going to talk about credible sources that day, just to make sure we feel good with what that means. And then make sure that you are ready to go for Thursday's work, which will be taking that one credible source that you're finding and completing the second half of part 2 on that research organizer, which actually is the annotation chart in and of itself, as you'll see here in a second. And then by Friday, all parts of the organizer are going to be complete. So I've established this work schedule for you this week to kind of do this organizer in smaller, manageable chunks, but I do have a time set for it to be completed by Friday. Just to kind of end this page, you'll see the makeup work for this class may include, and I added 5 things down here. I've been emailing to give feedback, so please make sure to continue to frequently check your emails, because that's where you're going to find like a daily update from me, any feedback from me in terms of, what you've been doing, how your work's been doing, what I might be missing. Definitely check in with me. And if you do have those things completed, make sure that you shoot me an email so I can give you feedback on the stuff that you're completing. To circle back to the research annotation graphic organizer that's kind of threaded through this work schedule week, I'm going to scroll up here for a moment and I'm going to switch screens. You can click on this link right here, which will be the graphic organizer. I'm going to switch screens right here. As I stated earlier in this Week in a Glance video, and last week we talked about exploring. We talked about topics. This week we're voting on a topic, and then we're taking this topic that we vote on and we're investigating. So as you see, like the 3 small triangles within this like big wedge of investigating here, this organizer kind of takes us through 3 parts. The first thing I would do is I would encourage you to copy this organizer and put it in your ELA folder, because this will be yours to complete. As you can see here, designing a plan is going to consist of a couple of different things, including identifying your research topic, what you want to research, why you chose this research, and some additional questions that can help you push your thinking forward when finding that credible source. Part 2 is about selecting information. So the first part is just collecting sources. So we need to collect at least 3 possible credible sources for you to research in connection to the question or the specific focus that you have this week with our chosen or voted on research topics. The second part of part 2 is an annotation chart. So of these at least 3 sources that you're linking in here, you want to choose one of them to put into this annotation chart to be able to fill out. This should look and feel somewhat similar. You've done this. We've mined text before. We were mining for details. A way to read this chart is once you've chosen that one credible source that you're going to be using, you're going to be pulling out a direct quote that kind of helps answer that question or helps support that focus that you have that you're responsible for. Paraphrasing that particular quote or like putting that into your own words, translating it so that we can understand it better as readers, and then making a connection to your question or your focus specifically. So of all the quotes and material that's found in that one credible source that you're using this week, how does it connect to what you're responsible in finding for our research topic? Okay. So this almost takes on a graphic organizer here where you're going to delete that insert here and put in your answers in place of that. The third part that we're working on this week is formulating the focus. So thinking about what you know now, a lot of what happens when researchers find themselves with a bunch of valuable information is they often ask the question, why is this information important? And so I've got a couple of questions here based on some research that you've done this week, based on some annotations that you've done this week, based on the voting that you've even done this week. I have some questions for you to think around and to respond to in this section here. So again, we're going to take this graphic organizer and we're going to assign it out in parts. So we're not going to do it all in one day, but I just wanted to let you know what our week is going to look like when it comes to looking at this organizer. Okay, switching back to here. Just a reminder that all of our resources are located on this week of 12/7 to 12/11 page. And if you have any questions, always feel free to reach out. Thanks.